Welcome back to the Tim Hayes YouTube channel. This time, Star Wars toy diorama video, as well as a little bit of a physical media update. But first, just something to put you in the mood for Star Wars and Star Wars toys. Okay, it's dark in here, you can't see me. Got the fiber optic Christmas tree in the background, but something to show off in the dark. Okay, just had to have a little bit fun with this lightsaber toy in the dark. But on with the video. I had Streets of Mos Eisley diorama playset set up. Well, I switched dioramas out since it's getting closer to Christmas and things are just below average in the Hayes household, but I don't want to get too much into my personal life. Yeah, I had that Ms. Marvel tackling that retro collection. Sand person, Tuscan warrior. Well, the Biggs figure came with his own gun, but Ms. Marvel is not a Star Wars figure, and I bought this squid head figure used off of the eBay seller, so I had to give Ms. Marvel and the Tuscan, or not the Tuscan warrior, squid head, some reproduction vintage Star Wars weapons, so these aren't Kenner original weapons that Ms. Marvel and Squidhead are holding. And I set up 2 Sand Troopers I bought off of eBay sellers. I got the more vintage collection Sand Trooper with the white pauldron. And his backpack just sticks into a hole in his back like a vintage G.I. Joe figure's backpack does, but minus a little screw in there. And then I bought this one from another eBay seller. This was originally in a 3-pack, the figures, and this one is being more modern. He doesn't have the wider stance that this vintage collections Sand Trooper has, and he's got the orange pauldron like you see on a Stormtrooper in the original Star Wars, but there's no details on it, and this backpack just goes over the shoulders with little straps. And yeah, that gun that's on like a strap, I just put that over his backpack since it doesn't go on that well. And he comes with the I believe this is the Rogue One style Stormtrooper blaster, and then same type of big blaster that Stormtrooper 4-pack came with. But yeah, that gun on a little strap, that doesn't really, I can't get him to hold it. And this one's gun that came on the strap could barely get into his hand. Even though Ms. Marvel was not designed to hold Kenner-style weapons, and the squid head was only designed to hold one in the right hand, I gave him a little black gun in the left hand. And then Biggs has a little gun that comes out of his holster. But yeah, this guy that was originally in that 3-pack from Hasbro Pulse, he doesn't have any holsters. I don't believe this guy has got any holsters either. So those are just some of the latest additions to my Star Wars and Marvel action figure collection. I was going to show a little bit more, but I think aside from fiber optic Christmas tree, I showed a shorter video. I just want to get into a little bit of physical media, being mainly Mystery Science Theater 3000. I've got a lot of physical media still to cover. I might just wait till New Year's to cover the rest, since that Gatorbait 4K Blu-ray combo pack set that I pre-ordered from TerrorVision, that is still being delayed. I'm hoping that that comes either this month or at the start of January. But now on to the physical media portion. Last month, or actually I believe it was, I don't know. I'm just getting so mixed up. I believe it was at the start of this month, I bought this reissue set of Mystery Science Theater 3000, Volume 27. It has the episodes The Crawling Eye, The Beatniks, The Final Sacrifice, and The Blood Waters of Dr. Z. But now it doesn't. Yeah, I showed this in the last one, so I don't need to go into this too much, but I'd also bought or wait a minute. Take that back. That's volume 17. 10 plus 7, that's 17. But I also had bought this volume 25 that I've been wanting for a while, that contains the first episode I had ever seen on Comedy Central a number of years back, Robot Holocaust. It was a number of years back when I was 12 going on 13. The cable company had just picked up this new channel called the Comedy Channel. And they didn't air too much comedy stuff. It seemed like they were showing stuff that was either stuff in the public domain or some stuff they licensed and some original programming. But they would show Topper Returns an awful lot, being hosted by a fictional private detective from either the 30s or the 40s. That would be shown on the Comedy Channel an awful lot. But one of the first things I saw on the Comedy Channel was the old black and white movie serials of Batman and Robin. You'll see where I'm going with this. Because at the time that 1989 Batman movie came out, and it had the reporter Vicky Vale, who was the heroine of that Michael Keaton Batman movie. And this doesn't really relate to MST3K, but you'll see where I'm going with this. Yeah, and So they showed the old black and white movie serials, Batman and Robin, on the Comedy Channel on a Sunday. It was like all day on a Sunday. This was before I discovered that the Comedy Channel also showed Mystery Science Theater 3000. So, yeah, and they had Vicky Vale as the reporter character in this old movie serial that had both Batman and Robin in it. It was from the early to mid 40s, black and white. But the day after that Sunday, Monday afternoon, I come home from school. I turn on the Comedy Channel and they're showing the show called Mystery Science Theater 3000. Of course, I didn't know what that show was at the time. I believe it was Robot Holocaust was the episode that was on, and this was back in late 89, early 1990. Of course, later on, the Comedy Channel merged with another comedy cable network called HAW, the Comedy Network, to become CTV, Comedy TV, and then Comedy Central. And one of the shows that they kept from the old Comedy Channel, aside from reruns of SCTV, I believe, were shown on HA, while I believe Comedy Central had the rights to reruns of Saturday Night Live from 1980 to the present. So those reruns of those shows were on Comedy Central in the early days, but then also Mystery Science Theater 3000 was one of the shows on there for the longest time, and they later had the Turkey Day marathons where they would show marathons of episodes, and I don't think some of these episodes in this set were shown on that marathon. I believe Revenge of the Creature, which is Creatures from the Black Lagoon Part 2, that was one of the Sci-Fi Channel episodes. But Robot Holocaust was one of the original Comedy Central episodes, and that I remember a line in it from when I just turned it on Comedy Central late on a Monday afternoon after school. I was like 12, I was 12 going on 13, and I remember seeing this bad lady, the sexy looking villainess, found out she was a German lady, but the way that she talked with that German accent, I don't think she had any acting experience. And they just gave her these crummy lines in that movie. So I believe when it was either Joel or one of the robots riffed on the way she was talking, I believe she said, "Oh, it sounds like you have a piece of hard candy in your mouth." I'm not sure if that was the riff or one of them was saying, "Oh, you sounds like you have a piece of heart candy in your mouth." I think it was probably hard candy, like she was sucking on a jawbreaker, or it sounded like she was sucking on a jawbreaker, or one of those old-fashioned Christmas candies that you can either just bite right into it and it just shatters, or you just suck on it if you want to enjoy it a little bit longer. But yeah, so it's German actress playing this evil villainess named Valaria, works for these robots, and she's holding this pretty futuristic girl's father's hostage. Yeah, Robot Holocaust. It's something like Mad Max, but if you take a Mad Max post-apocalyptic movie and Star Wars and like a Conan and the Barbarian type movie and mix them up into a blender, you get Robot Holocaust. So I saw bits of that on MST3K when I was very young, that being the first one I had seen, since this was before the Turkey Day Marathon, so I had to get that for that episode. But a while back, I found out there was a non MST3K version of Robot Holocaust out there that if you wanted to see it, you either had to own the old VHS tape that Charles Band's Wizard Video put out, since this was a straight-to-home video movie. It aired, or it was shown in theaters overseas, but went direct to video. But like a lot of Charles Band movies, whether they were direct to video or straight to VHS, they were pretty much shot on film. So even the Wizard Video Charles Band titles became part of what was called Empire Pictures, that started as something like Roger Corman's New World Pictures, which New World Pictures was pretty much movies shown in theaters and the walk-in movie theaters and the drive-in theaters. And I believe Empire Pictures was pretty much the same way. But I believe Empire Pictures went a bit bankrupt, so they started putting their movies directly on to home video. And then MGM later got the rights to most of them, so a lot of them were not put out on DVD or Blu-ray. But MGM had made a HD master for the non-MST3K version of Robot Holocaust. So they ended up licensing that out to Scorpion Releasing, who put the non-MST3K version out as a Blu-ray through the Ronin Flicks website. And it came with this new artwork. This is a non-MST3K version. You can see the Dark One robot, I believe, holding a skull, and then there's his evil henchwoman, Valeria. And came with this little mini poster, the new artwork. Yeah, I just recently opened this. Rest in peace, Scorpion Releasing in Code Red. But the cool thing is, in this, that's the original VHS artwork right there. So you see most of the main characters on the back right there, but it's slightly different images from the movie on the reverse side, but this is the original artwork from the VHS on the front. On the reverse side, this was probably used as movie poster artwork when this was shown in theaters overseas. So this was mainly a direct-to-video B-movie, which might explain how it ended up as a movie being riffed on during the first season of Comedy Channel's MST3K Mystery Science Theater 3000, but I just wanted to reverse this artwork to the original. And there you have it. The Blu-ray edition of Robot Holocaust that was put out by the late great Scorpion Releasing through the Ronin Flicks website, licensed from MGM, this being the non-Mystery Science Theater 3000 episode. Or yeah, the non-MST3K version of this little B movie from the 80s. 1987, 79 minutes, not rated since this went straight to video, but this would probably be PG since there's a mild violence. No trailer, but I know there's a trailer from the Japanese home video release, which starts out with Japanese text, but it has an English language voiceover, just like an old Charles Band Empire Pictures movie, which is this pretty much is. But so the movie's in widescreen on the Blu-ray, 1.85 anamorphic widescreen. And the only extra you get, brand new on-camera interview with co-star Jennifer Deloria, who plays this futuristic Amazon queen in this movie. In the not so distant future, mankind is facing uncertainty in the rubble of the destruction of New York. Powerful robots have taken over the world, poisoning the air and making humans their slaves. One man, Neo, and his robot Clayton, who's something like C-3PO, will take on giant worms, flesh-eating mutants, killer robots, and the evil power of the Dark One in a desperate battle to reclaim Earth for the human race. And it also stars Angelica Jagger as Valaria. And that lady, she was very beautiful and sexy back in the 80s. I found a YouTube video of her that was shared on a Mystery Science Theater 3000 website. Her hair got all gray, got shorter, she got married, she had kids. She ended up becoming a painter. And she had a German accent, but even with the German accent, by the time she became a painter, her English seemed to be a little bit better. But, of course, in real life, she wasn't made to sound like Elmer Fudd in this little B movie. So, non-MST3K version of Robot Holocaust. First one saw bits of on Comedy Central years ago as a little kid when it was known simply. Yeah, the channel was known simply as the Comedy Channel, not Comedy Central, which it later became. So, original VHS artwork. New artwork. A little mini poster of that new artwork. Pretty much just Scream Factory style, since Ronin Flicks, I believe, is just an offshoot of Scream Factory. So, happy to own this. Yeah, some of the other episodes, not too thrilled about. Operation Kid Brother, I don't think is one I had ever gotten into. And Kitten with the Whip, it's black and white, like B movie crime drama starring Anne Margaret, but she plays bad girl in that one. But Revenge of the Creatures, fun one. So this has the mini posters. Yeah, this one still comes in the mini posters in this little thin cases, in this slip case, whereas This re-release of Volume 17 is just regular size DVD case. They just give you pictures of the mini posters, and then they just put 4 DVDs on top of each other. I will get around to watching this sometime soon. So, I ended up killing 2 birds with 1 stone, doing MST3K physical media video, plus a Star Wars action figure update and diorama video, just going back to the Imperial Light Cruiser Holloway diorama playset. And I've got more figures to open that I'll get to eventually. It's just really busy. Things are just below average here right now. When things get back to being just average, hopefully they will, then I will get back into doing a bit more videos. I also have church choir, so I've got my final run through choir rehearsal for Christmas Eve service with the adult choir that I'm a part of. And I believe, yeah, there's going to be a children's choir singing at one of the masses this year. Choir director got, I believe, like 28 kids in the children's choir, and they all stuck with it, so they're going to be rehearsing later today, right before us. But enough of that. Just give you a look at the fiber optic glowing Christmas tree once more. So I'm Tim, and if I don't see or interact with any of my viewers before Christmas, Merry Christmas. Oh, and one more thing. You see, I've got the box for the HasLab Mos Eisley Cantina diorama playset in the background. That I still haven't opened. Yeah, I've just been really busy. Life has been just atypical. So, when I get around to doing more things, I will get to the cantina. And I'll get around to doing the rest of my videos, So thank you for watching my action figure diorama update and MST3K update video, being a bit of my memories of Mystery Science Theater 3000 and the old Comedy Central channel when it was still known as the Comedy Channel. So I'm Tim Hayes. Thank you for watching, and good night, and keep an eye out for more physical media videos and toy videos coming soon to my YouTube channel. And I'm Tim Hayes. Good night.